Have you ever wondered who the first female ruler of Egypt was, long before Cleopatra's reign? Well, today, we pull back the curtain on the enigma that is Hatshepsut, the woman who was not born to rule, yet wore the pharaoh's crown. In the heart of ancient Egypt, a child was born. A child who would defy the odds, challenge tradition, and ascend to power in a male-dominated world. This child was Hatshepsut. Born to Pharaoh Thutmose I and his primary wife Ahmose, Hatshepsut was not destined for the throne. That honor was reserved for the male offspring, and Hatshepsut's half-brother, Thutmose II, was the chosen heir. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Before she was pharaoh, Hatshepsut was a princess, raised in the splendor of the royal court. She received an education befitting a royal, learning about religion, politics, and the arts. Despite the limitations placed on her due to her gender, Hatshepsut thrived, showing a keen intellect and a strong will from a young age. Tragedy struck when Thutmose I passed away, and Hatshepsut's half-brother ascended to the throne. As was customary to strengthen his rule, Thutmose II married Hatshepsut, his sister, yet fate had a twist in store. Thutmose II's reign was short, and with no male heir to succeed him, the throne was left vacant. This is where our story takes an unexpected turn. The unexpected happened. Hatshepsut, the queen, claimed the throne not as a queen regent but as a pharaoh, a position that had always been held by men. She donned the traditional pharaoh's kilt, the Nemes headdress, and even the false beard, symbolizing her authority. And so, Hatshepsut, a woman in a world of men, became the first female pharaoh of Egypt. Quite intriguing, isn't it? A woman who was not born to rule, but fate had other plans. So, how did Hatshepsut, a woman in a male-dominated society, ascend to the throne of Egypt? Our journey begins in the heart of ancient Egypt, a society steeped in tradition, where power was held by men, and pharaohs were considered gods. But in this world, a woman was about to defy the odds. Hatshepsut was not born to rule. Her father, Thutmose I, had other sons, but fate had a different plan. Upon her father's death, her half-brother Thutmose II took the throne. As was customary in those times to solidify power and keep the bloodline pure, Hatshepsut, the royal daughter, married her half-brother, becoming the great royal wife. But her ambition didn't just stop at being a queen. Thutmose II's reign was short-lived, and upon his death his son from a minor wife, Thutmose III, was appointed heir. But there was a catch. The young prince was too young to rule, and the kingdom needed a regent, a placeholder until the boy came of age. Hatshepsut, with her royal blood and queenly status, was the perfect candidate. She stepped into the role of regent, but for Hatshepsut, this was not enough. She saw an opportunity and seized it. She claimed the throne for herself, not as a queen but as a pharaoh. She adopted the full titulary of a pharaoh, the symbols of power, even the traditional male attire including the false beard. Her ascension was not without controversy. After all, she was a woman in a man's world, but Hatshepsut was clever. She used propaganda, religious rituals, and political alliances to legitimize her reign. She crafted narratives of divine birth and endorsement from the gods themselves, asserting that her rule was the will of the gods. And so, in a society dominated by men, a woman had ascended to the highest office. Against the backdrop of the pyramids and the Nile, Hatshepsut had claimed what no woman before her had dared to claim. Against all odds, Hatshepsut became the pharaoh, but her reign was far from ordinary. Now let's explore the reign of Hatshepsut. What made it so remarkable and unique? One of the most notable aspects of Hatshepsut's rule was her ambitious architectural projects. She commissioned hundreds of construction projects throughout Egypt, many of which remain standing to this day. Among the most famous of these is the mortuary temple of Hatshepsut, a stunning monument set against the cliffs of Deir el-Bahari. This grand structure, with its unique design and intricate reliefs, is a testament to the vision and determination of this female pharaoh. Another significant achievement of Hatshepsut's reign was the successful trade expedition to the land of Punt. This journey, documented in carvings on the walls of her mortuary temple, brought back a wealth of exotic goods like frankincense, myrrh, and ebony, as well as living plants and animals. The Punt expedition not only enriched Egypt materially but also bolstered Hatshepsut's reputation as a ruler capable of organizing such an ambitious endeavor. But it wasn't just about grand architectural feats and trade expeditions. Hatshepsut's reign was also marked by a period of peace and prosperity. She focused on internal development and trade rather than military conquest. This focus on internal affairs and diplomacy allowed Egypt to flourish economically and culturally during her rule. Hatshepsut also made efforts to legitimize her rule in the eyes of her subjects. She often depicted herself in traditional male pharaoh attire in statues and reliefs. This was a strategic move to assert her authority and ensure her acceptance as a pharaoh by her subjects. So when we talk about Hatshepsut's reign, we're talking about a period of architectural innovation, successful trade expeditions, and a time of peace and prosperity. It was a time when Egypt was ruled not by a warrior king, but by a visionary queen who dared to break the norms to lead her nation towards progress. Hatshepsut's reign was not just about power, it was about progress and prosperity. But every reign has its downfall. What led to the end of Hatshepsut's rule? The sunset of Hatshepsut's era was as dramatic as her sunrise. Her death, the circumstances surrounding it, and the peculiar events that followed are all shrouded in mystery. Even today, historians and archaeologists are still grappling with the controversies that surround the end of her reign. Hatshepsut's death is a puzzle in itself. Some argue that she died of natural causes, while others speculate that she might have been murdered. The lack of concrete evidence makes the cause of her death a subject of continued debate. What we do know is that her death marked a turning point in Egypt's history. Following her death, Hatshepsut disappeared from Egypt's historical records. Her mummy was not found in her grand tomb in the Valley of the Kings, and her statues were defaced or destroyed. It was as if someone was trying to erase her existence completely. This led to a mystery that has fascinated historians for centuries. What happened to Hatshepsut after her death? The prime suspect in this historical whodunit is Thutmose III, Hatshepsut's stepson and successor. After taking the throne, Thutmose III embarked on a campaign to obliterate Hatshepsut's legacy. He ordered the destruction of her statues, the defacing of her monuments, and the removal of her name from historical records. It seemed as if Thutmose III was trying to rewrite history, to erase Hatshepsut's reign and present himself as the rightful pharaoh. The motives behind Thutmose III's actions are a subject of debate among historians. Some suggest that it was an act of revenge, while others argue that it was a political maneuver to legitimize his own reign. Regardless of the reasons, Thutmose III's actions had a profound impact. Hatshepsut, once a powerful and influential pharaoh, was reduced to a ghost in Egypt's history. Hatshepsut's end was as enigmatic as her rise, leaving behind a legacy shrouded in mystery. So, what did Hatshepsut leave behind? How does her legacy live on today? Unraveling the legacy of Hatshepsut is a journey into the heart of Egypt's golden age. The discovery of her tomb in the early 20th century was a revelation, offering historians a treasure trove of artifacts and insights into her reign. Her mummy, though damaged, was an indelible testament to her existence, her power, and her defiance of societal norms. The modern world came to appreciate Hatshepsut not only for her rule, but also for her contributions to art, architecture, and trade. She was a patron of the arts, commissioning stunning monuments that still stand in the Valley of the Nile. Her reign saw an expansion of trade routes, bringing in wealth and fostering cultural exchange with distant lands. But perhaps the most enduring part of Hatshepsut's legacy is her impact on future female rulers. She carved out a path in a male-dominated world, proving that a woman can lead with as much strength and wisdom as a man. She set a precedent, inspiring future generations of women to step into roles of power and leadership. Her rule challenged the gender norms of her time and has been a beacon of inspiration for women throughout history. From the powerful queens of medieval Europe to the influential women leaders of today, Hatshepsut's spirit lives on. Her story serves as a reminder of the heights women can reach, the changes they can bring, and the history they can write. As one of the most successful pharaohs, Hatshepsut's impact on Egypt was profound. She led her country through an era of peace and prosperity, leaving a mark that would be felt for centuries to come. Her reign was a golden age of progress and growth, making her an icon not just of female power, but of effective leadership. Hatshepsut, the woman who defied norms and led Egypt to an era of peace and prosperity, continues to inspire us even today.